Okay, so welcome back again, guys, to another episode of Nanjing Bros podcast. And it has been, I guess, a long time since we last did our podcast. It was almost 2 years now, and we're finally back with a new, fresh people. So yeah, I mean, we decided to restart the program and restart the whole channel thing because back then we had some issues. We had our masters coming up and we just graduated. Now I'm in a PhD and it's kind of like it's been a ride. Yeah, and just gotta restart everything and I hope you guys, because also from like popular demand, like with most of the people who are coming back home to Nanjing, they wanted to know like what's up and what's going on with the life here. So yeah, especially for you guys. I mean, like now we have invited one of my, let's say now my best friend.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man.
Yeah, right. I mean, like we met actually not long ago, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I came around I think it was December, yeah.
Yeah, it was December.
December, yeah, the last week of December. I was in Nanjing.
So
Just when the restrictions were off, like 1 or 2 days, I think. No, like 3 or 4 days before the restrictions lifted.
3 or 4
Right,
days. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean there was like the time when. Wait. Anyways, please introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah.
First, yeah, to our viewers.
So yeah, for your viewers, my name is Nasooh Ismail.
Mhm.
I am a Maldivian. I'm a student currently at Nanjing University of Information Science and Technology.
Mhm.
It's a very long name, so we just call it NUIST.
Yeah, I mean it's like a even the Chinese like Nanjing Xinxi Gongcheng Dashi, right? Like it's quite
yeah,
long.
yeah, because you would actually notice it on the
Uh-huh.
metro because know
Uh-huh.
these metros, they have like short names, and when it comes to
Yeah.
our school stations, we have arrived at Nanjing University of Science and Technology station.
Yeah, man, it's definitely like something. It's a perk of living in like a
Mm.
newest.
Mhm.
So what's your major again, by the way?
So I'm doing my master's in meteorology.
Metrology.
Yeah.
Like in what kind of like research field?
Currently, my research is more oriented into nowcasting, but that's just like a huge. There's like a vague way of mentioning my focus, because nowcasting means a lot of things, and nowcasting can be done from radar based, and I'm not sure I need to explain all the lingo here.
No, you don't need to explain.
Okay.
Yeah, just
So it's basically like forecasting for a very short period of time.
okay.
So generally speaking, most of the weather models give out for a long period of time. Let's say from 12 hours
Mm-hmm.
to the next 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is with these models, when they actually give out the forecast,
Mhm.
they miss the first few hours, like from
Okay.
0 to 12 hours. So this part, which needs to be filled in by other methods, we call it nowcasting. So
Mm.
nowcasting is basically like analyzing the current
Mhm.
situation, doing some statistical analysis or
Mhm.
some numerical modeling to
Mhm.
give out the next few hours, which is the most crucial, because
Ah,
places
okay.
like our country where weather changes so rapidly,
Mhm.
even 1 to 3 hours could mean a lot of differences. So we need to fill in that gap. So I decided
Okay.
this topic would be best for me.
Okay.
And the field of meteorology is very vast. I could talk about it the whole day also.
Alright. I mean, like, we wouldn't need to talk about everything like today, but I mean, it's interesting, like how you said, like the thing from 0 to 12 hours is usually missing.
Mm.
Is it because like it's like a normal thing in the meteorology, or like it's just like how do you call it? It's like a thing that is happening only in your country.
No, it's a normal thing in meteorology, or
Mhm.
like most traditional numerical weather prediction models, which
Mhm.
are like basically computer programs. When you input some kind of data, like this is the current
Mhm.
situation here, I give you some equations, you calculate and tell me what's going to happen next. So what happens is, like when they're doing the calculations, there's a lot of like spin up time. We call it the spin up time for models. When the models that gives out weather forecast for the next 10 days, that means a huge amount of calculations when you consider the time involved. It's like from forecast 100 hours to suppose like forecast 148th hour. So that means a lot of calculations need to be going on, and if you don't have a supercomputer at hand, you need to be doing this in like simple servers, which takes time.
Yeah, of course.
But the thing is, we need 10 days forecasts as well. But it's kind of a compromise that we have to make with traditional numerical weather prediction models, where the 0 to 1200 hours is going to be missing, because there's not going to be any data there. There is going to be data there, but it's not going to be interpreted for like operational status.
Okay, I get it.
So now in the modern age of radars and like automatic weather stations, which are like meteorological stations which collect like 10 minutes variables, we use these kind of data and the radars, which gives like 1 minute to 5 minute very, very high resolution data. We just analyze it, pass it through some models, and then merge with the real-time situation and also with the models, and we give out a very highly accurate and high resolution forecast.
Okay, so what, like, how do you call it, like, so you were working in this field before when you came to China, right?
Yeah, actually, fresh out of high school.
Fresh
out of high school, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was back home, and then I was searching jobs, and then I found this one Gazette entry which stated for like a weather observer, and just as I saw it, I made it interesting for me, because like usually when you're out of high school, people go for like this administrative kind of work, like admin stuff, or
like government works and all that stuff,
or you join like a private company, and then you just do what they tell you to do. So this area was quite interesting because I don't see this, right? And then I applied for it. I went to the interview late. I didn't think that I would even get this job. So yeah, I got the job. I worked as a weather observer, which is like 24 hours a day. Someone goes out, collect the data, like the clouds and stuff like that. And here I am, man, like a master student doing like a research on nowcasting.
Okay. So I mean, like from the time that you actually got into weather observing, right? And then I guess you actually came to China after that, right? Or before that?
No, after that, yeah.
After that, you came to China to get your bachelor's degree, right?
Yeah.
And when was it again? Like 2015?
It was 2013 actually. I joined the Met Service on 2012. And then I did like this weather observer field for like 7 months, and then the government posted a scholarship. Which was the best thing that could happen to me.
I mean,
because now I made a career out of it, right? I was young back then, and then I got this scholarship. I applied for it. It was a bachelor's in applied meteorology in NUIST.
Also NUIST, right?
Yeah, also NUIST. Wow. So I applied for it. I got selected, and then I came to China, like a fresh guy, without a slightest clue how China worked. The whole language and everything. It was scary, man. It was scary at first. On the plane, I remember, like, it was so fancy, like big planes, because that was the first time I actually traveled so far away,
And you were like, how old were you at the time?
I think I was like 19 or something.
19.
Like, yeah, 19.
Still young, yeah, definitely still young.
And then I arrived to China, and I guess I was lucky enough that I had a cousin who was actually here, who has been working in the Maldivian embassy in Beijing. So he came and he received me from the airport.
That's nice.
And then he showed me like the school, the do's and don'ts, the basic stuff, you know, like how, like he went with me to the supermarket to get the usual beddings and stuff, you know, and then like for a day he was with me, as I was lucky like that. But from that point onwards, I did everything alone because the guy went back to Beijing, and I had to do all the, you know, the regular stuff, the medical examinations, the visas and stuff like that. And yeah, and I at that day, you know, I remember it was one day like I thought like I don't know this language, you know, and it's so difficult to do this. You know, I should learn this language.
Yeah, it is difficult.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. Like,
yeah, true.
But my program already had like 1 year of language, but then I thought like I'm not gonna wait, you know, like because you know, like when you're in China and if you don't know the language, I would say it is
very difficult.
Very difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
But on the other hand, if you're in China and like a fresh graduate, like freshman, and if you know the language, that's like a huge plus point, man.
True.
Like, that means like you're putting yourself way above the others.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. It just like kind of like excels you forward.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of opportunities, a lot of doors will open for you. Like once you get to know the language, I mean, it doesn't matter like even if you're in the freshman or like even if you're like second, third year, it still opens a lot of doors for you, right? In the future. And it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like even the basic stuffs is difficult without the language. So I started learning, and I'm telling you, man, Chinese can't be learned from books. The traditional way of Chinese language, you may learn like the basics, but I would still say like you have to meet the locals, you know, like be in touch with the locals, like be in their circles. So like I swallowed like everything I had, and I took a leap of faith, you know, like I started looking for Chinese friends more than foreign friends.
Okay.
At the university there was a lot of foreigners.
True.
The thing is like you see like the Chinese students walking in the university, I would go up to them and say like ni hao. And you know, like
that's brave of you though.
And like ni hao, like and you know, like, it's a very weird way of saying like I want to become your friend in Chinese. 我想当你的朋友, and then like you expect a good reply or something, and most of them are like 7 out of 10 people would go like huh, like huh, because they don't speak English and they speak Chinese, like and then they expect me to not understand it, right? So it went on, like I went to the libraries, I went to the cafes around the school. I made like a lot of Chinese friends and exchanged WeChats, and then I started hanging around with them. I didn't focus on the classes. I focused on getting time with them.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, Chinese people, they are nice.
I mean,
really nice.
Yeah, they are nice. Once you get to know them and like they kind of like how do you call it, like considers you as like their kind of friend, they kind of like put them into their like kind of like circle, right?
Yeah, and it's like you belong with them, you know?
Sure.
And I thought it would be different because I'm a foreigner and there's Chinese all around, but no, like the only part that matters is the language. If you understand them, they don't really like put you away, like they want you with them, you know. They want you to hang out with them, you know, like go to the hot pots, play these games like mahjong and stuff. And the first year at university, once I learned the language, it turned around, man. I started to enjoy it so much. Like really, like every day was like a new adventure, you know. Like I had a couple of friend groups, so I would like tell them like, hey, what's up, and then they will tell like, okay, yeah, we're going to this KTV, or we're going to see a movie or something like that. So I went along, you know. I thought of myself as Chinese.
I mean, I think that's when you get like to know like this cultural barrier just starts to break down, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of putting it. Like you don't feel like a foreigner.
And the good thing about Chinese, like people here, once you get to know their language, at least I guess, they also start to explain to you some stuff, even if you don't understand that thing, right? Like say
Yeah.
like jokes and stuff. Like if you don't really understand it, try to explain it to you what it means and all these things, so that you can actually kind of enjoy it with them.
Yeah, yeah,
Even though
yeah.
it doesn't really make sense sometimes, like especially when you first just came here, like the jokes like
Yeah.
might not really make sense for us, like foreigners. It feels like it's kind of cliche and stuff.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
once you get to understand like their standpoint and like where they're coming from, I think
And
it's
and then they don't do it in like a pushy way.
yeah,
like,
true.
they kind of like, as you said, like
Uh-huh.
the involvement process. They
Mhm.
want to make it as friendly as possible, and I
True.
think that's a huge advantage of actually living in China, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe if you're in another country, like sometimes the involvement process,
Mm-hmm.
like people would want to push you more away from them because you don't understand it.
Yeah, kind of like racism, I guess. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like that. But here it's a little bit different. I don't know how to explain it in like fully, but you have to be here to know that.
Yeah, true.
You and I, we know that.
Yeah, we definitely been
Yeah.
through that. Yeah, because like living here for like 8-9 years, you get
Mhm.
to know like you've been even since like when China was like when they weren't really open up to like the international side yet,
Mhm.
until now that they are like trying to push forward like to internationalize every city that they have.
Anything, yeah.
It's very kind of like interesting process, I guess, like what
see
we
it,
try-
right?
to see it, that what's happening right now. Okay, so anyways, yeah, you actually graduated your bachelor's, went back to working as well, right? You
Mm, yeah.
worked in the airport, was it?
Yeah, actually,
Uh,
we have all the Met offices, the manned station
Mhm,
at
mhm,
least,
mhm.
were in like airports. And
Okay.
in Maldives, airports means like it's most cases it's going to be on a separate island. So I was
alright.
working after I graduated. I went back to the National Meteorological
Mhm,
Center, which
mhm,
was in the main international airport, the
Mhm.
main one with it's called Hurule, Kaf Hurule. It's the island's name, and the
Okay.
airport's name is Velana International Airport.
Okay.
So I started working there as a meteorologist this time. So
Uh-huh.
I was not the guy who was going to every hour to observe the clouds. I was the guy like handling the data from the guys who were doing the observation.
Okay, so you're up now.
Yeah,
You're
I
up a
leveled
level.
up.
Yeah, you leveled up.
But you know, like I would say something interesting at this point. You know, like when you are studying in your undergraduate, like for a specific topic, let's say like meteorology, right? You study meteorology, but then when you go back to work, you think like you would apply all the knowledge that you have learned into this specific work field, right? But it doesn't always work like that. You know, like if anything, if I had done differently when I was doing bachelor's, I would actually be in contact with my office and see what they lacked, and then focused on that when I was doing undergraduate,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, but the thing is, like when you have when you learn in an like abroad, place like China specifically, you get this sense of like you're thinking outside the box. It's very much outside the box, right? And then when you go back home, and then when you start as a like a meteorologist, which is the level above, people expect things from you, right? So I was this guy when going back to work, like you know, like a happy guy. Like I just graduated, I had my bachelor's degree, and then I went back to work, and I was like, it's pretty much the same, right? So I was thinking like, nah, I have to do something different, right? So I started doing things like different, trying to make things efficient and stuff like that. And I stumbled upon this modeling. So this modeling, the numerical weather prediction modeling, now this is my whole life, career-wise.
Okay.
So after I graduated, I went back home, and it was nice to be back home also, but 2-3 years, I still missed China, you know. I still miss the life back home, and a lot have happened after that. Yeah.
Yeah. You got married as well, right?
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
got
yeah.
back?
I got married as well. I actually was married like on my 4th year.
Fourth year.
Fourth
Okay.
year, I
Okay.
married, and then I came back to China, finished my bachelor's, went back, and then settled down. You know, like got married. The normal life that we had, you know, that we all have.
Sure.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about it, it brings back some memories, man.
I can see you a bit tearing up, bro. Hopefully, I mean, I guess it's a part of the process, right? You grow up and then you life takes you into new places, right? I guess. So,
What a ride, man! What a ride!
right. Talking about your how do you call it, like your time when you've been back at the Maldives, right? Like now that you choose to kind of come back to China to pursue like your master's degree, what is it like, the thought process for it, you know, like how did you actually overcome this transition between like coming to China to continue a master's degree here, because now you have family and everything, like you have you have Mile as well. Mile is Nasooh's son, by the way. So like there's a lot of like things to consider, right? Like to come to China, it's like a big decision to make.
Yeah, when you're like single, you know, like these kind of decisions.
It's pretty easy.
It's
like
pretty easy,
yeah. I mean,
you don't have to think about others anymore. It's like if it is good for you, just go for it, right? Just reach out and grab it.
Sure.
But now, let's say like I always wanted to do masters, and I would want to do PhD as well. But the thing is, like, if you want to do masters or anything in meteorology, you have to go abroad. And then you said like it's quite different, the whole like how do you say, like thinking of doing masters. You have to think about a lot of things.
Okay.
Like the move, how am I going to manage my family back home, and everything, like man, I was like, when I was doing undergraduate, I just didn't pay no rent, and I was in this Susha, you know, like I don't have to I don't have to think about rent and stuff.
You
but
basically
now,
just come and that's it, right?
Yeah. But now, like, I have to think about rent, schools, fees and stuff, like the whole money process as well. So I would say it was a struggle, you know, like even accepting the fact that I wanted to do masters. And then I applied, I talked to my family, and I applied, I got selected. It was like it was a huge huge process, like thinking of going there and accepting that I will go there, thinking about how I'm going to bring my family. Man, it was a struggle.
I could not imagine that, to be honest. Like it's definitely gonna be like something that you need to think about like for days, even months, I guess. And like I mean, like why did you actually pick China again? Like, is there any reason for you to, like, is it because like the thing here is better, or you just felt like coming here?
That's actually a good question, you know, like, why did I choose China?
Because I mean, there's, I guess if you say like it's best to get study abroad for meteorology, like I mean, I guess like there's a lot of choices, right?
There were actually a couple of choices as well, including Japan and stuff like that. The thing is, like, once you have lived 5 years in China, you can't just like there's like, even if you try, you can't like erase it, you know. Like it becomes like a part of you inside. The whole living in China, like everything, from the food, the people, the adventures, everything, you know, the whole little memories, the big memories, kind of stick to you. Like you can't erase it, and then you feel like it's a part of you. So it naturally came to me like, yeah, China.
You want to continue in China, right?
I want to continue in China, you know, because I like China. And I liked living here. And then so like I know I was already familiar with my university. So in Nanjing I was very familiar with. So I thought like it will be easier for me to get around also,
Mm.
and I could do everything that I couldn't do in like bachelor's,
Mhm.
and then enjoy and study here. Like start the next chapter of China in my life.
Making it sound like it's a kind of like a series,
Yeah.
drama series.
yeah. But now
Man.
there's gonna be a part 3 which is the PhD as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope that you get your PhD like smoothly.
But the thing is, again, when like let's go back to the part where there's family involved,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
The thing is, like, it won't always go according to your plan.
mhm.
Like it doesn't. Like the whole, yeah, I'm gonna come to China and I'm gonna enjoy everything, because you have a lot of strings attached now, because you're a settled down guy with a wife and a
Mhm,
kid.
mhm. You've got responsibilities
Yeah,
to
and-
uphold. Yeah.
And then you have to pick, like you have to pick your wins.
Mhm.
So like for a win, it's a win for me now. I'm so happy about that. Like my wife and my kid are actually here
Yeah,
with me in China.
True.
That's a huge win.
It's a huge win. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, the now it's masters. It's not like the simple undergraduate. Like
Mhm.
it's masters. Just you have to be thinking twice,
Yeah. True.
and you have to manage your time with the whole literatures,
mhm.
research, journals, and
Family as
yeah.
well. Mhm.
So you have to manage your time very well,
Uh-huh.
and I am managing. Yeah, I am managing, and
Good.
it's
Mhm.
going well right now.
Mhm.
And the fact is, I am managing and doing it well in China.
Mhm. It's double like double the pressure, I guess, like from actually doing it, like
Yeah.
managing it back home, right?
But the thing is,
Uh-huh.
I thought it would be difficult, man. I
Uh-huh.
really thought it would be difficult, like bringing my family to China and making them
Uh-huh.
accustomed to this life and stuff. But the whole process, well, there were some difficulties with the visa and stuff like that. But once that got settled, it's quite easy. It's easier than
Uh-huh.
living back home.
So you think I guess like for you it's easier to be living in China compared to living in back home.
Yeah,
Like
I would say
Maldives?
that, yeah.
Like,
For me at least.
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
For me at least, I would actually, I could prefer to live here as well.
Like in which aspect like this actually makes it easier to you, like for example maybe ease of transport, or just like the overall like environment which is better here, or how is it like?
Oh, like if
Mhm.
if you're trying to compare the like life back home and here,
Mhm.
of course, obviously life back home, I would have my family, my friends back
Mhm,
home,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
And this is the island lifestyle that we have, right?
Yeah, true.
The chill,
True,
the
true.
slow
Mhm,
lifestyle where
mhm,
you
mhm.
hear waves every day and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. This, the whole relaxing part of it,
Uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh.
And you live in a country like Maldives, and then you get to eat like your local food and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I would prefer to live here because for the fact that it's different.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
different good. Different good as in like this is a huge country, like
Mhm.
that means a huge amount of opportunities, the
Mhm.
huge amount of places that you can go
Mhm.
and see for yourself, the
Mhm.
huge amount of like food that you can try,
Mhm.
the huge amount of people that you're going to
Uh-huh.
meet. And for me it's like like your life is being put on a bigger platter for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
And
get it.
it's a challenge which I can actually enjoy as well,
Mm.
and it kinds of builds like some kind of character in you, like living abroad
Mhm.
and meeting new people, seeing how they interact with you.
Mhm.
So you kind of mold yourself to be a little bit better,
Mhm.
more open to more different kinds of societies,
Mhm.
especially a place like China.
So it's more like you crave like this the bigger life.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, true, true, true. Same for me actually. Like it's pretty much I think the same for most of us. Like people coming from like a smaller country, like compared to China. I mean,
Mm.
economically, I guess it's like you try to come here and you see like there's a lot of like opportunities and doors open that's open for you. You know, like
Mm.
you just see that some little stuff that just like kind of like doesn't make sense back home, but it makes a lot of sense
Yeah,
here, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it just opens up your eyes to a lot of like
Mhm.
new things and
Yeah.
you learn every day.
And then
Like-
you kind of become a leveled up
Yeah,
person
yeah.
that you used to be.
Uh-huh,
And when you go back home.
True,
like-
true. So you talk about like your family actually coming here, right? Can you like tell us like how the process was, like having like all the family like through the visa process and
Oh,
like what you need to take and all this stuff? Do you
yeah.
remember like?
Yeah, I do. I do remember because that was a very difficult part of my life. you
Yeah, I
know?
mean we were kind of like stuck in the same boat that time, right?
Yeah. So yeah, like I came on December, and my family came. Uh,
A month ago, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
a month ago.
Uh-huh.
it's been a month ago. Yeah, it's February, like at the end of January, I think. Yeah. So you have a whole month and some change of days in between, right? So as soon as I came to China, man, this time it was different. When I was an undergraduate, it was like China, you know. But here, like when you, soon as you live apart from your family, you get this wave of sensation that, you know, like I need to be back home.
Like this anxious feeling.
Yeah,
right?
like, and the sadness and the missing parts, and it was overwhelming. It was really overwhelming. And then when I came to China, I already had a plan of bringing them here. It's just, it involves a lot of bureaucratic processes as well. The first thing was actually, the first and foremost would be me getting my residence permit.
Okay.
And that itself was a struggle. Because, you know, this
Sure.
this is China after COVID. So it has some little changes. Especially all the process became a little bit slow because of the whole COVID measures. And especially like the medical certificates and that thing. Yeah, because before, I remember before, if you want to do the medical certificate, just go directly, take a number like Guahao, and then get the
just
number
go straight. Yeah.
and do it. Like now it's like you have to have the green code. Remember that?
Yeah.
The green code,
man.
the QR code of the
then-
COVID test.
Yeah, COVID test.
And then you have to have an appointment number as well. And
true.
then they were giving out appointment numbers like 10, I think, 10 or 20 per day. And then it kept like filling up, you know,
True.
which I thought was going to take me like a week. Took me at least 3 weeks to get it. And then after I got that medical certificate, and applying for the visa part was easy because the school provides the documents and everything. So just go there and apply for it. Once I got the residence permit, now comes the part of getting the actual visas that matters. The visa, the S1, the S1 visa.
S1 for family
Yeah.
visa, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
for family
okay.
visa. S1 is like for families, like spouses, siblings, kids, and
Okay,
parents, I
okay.
think, which are going to stay with you for more than 180 days.
More than 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
So applying for that requires lots of other documents as well.
Mhm.
So every country has this consulate, Chinese embassy or consulate. So we have a embassy back home. So the documents required would, the most important thing is the marriage certificate and the birth certificate, which is like the proof of relation documents. So these documents has to be in a certain way. Like suppose you have the marriage certificate in your own language. For us, maybe it's Divehi. You will have to first translate it
To English or Chinese?
to English.
To English. Okay.
Some countries, they have
Mhm.
different rules where you actually have to translate it to Chinese as well.
Ah,
But
okay.
for these countries, they would have a Chinese translation service in their country, or like
okay.
well-established countries, right?
Mhm.
So I translated it to English, and birth certificate was fortunately in English.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get it attested at the foreign ministry, and then get it notarized from the Chinese embassy as well. So that process took quite a time, and then I tried, and that was the only difficult process. So the only other thing that required was for me to write an invitation letter stating that they are going to come live with me, and then I will take care of them financially, and they will abide by the Chinese laws and rules. And then it took, and then unfortunately the whole process was falling on the Chinese New Year week, right?
Yeah.
So after I got the S1 visa for my family, next was bringing them here. And at this time there was the whole COVID thing. It wasn't fully recovered. China was fully recovered from it. So there was the whole airfare thing, like any flight coming into China was expensive back then.
Yeah.
Right?
True. Any flight.
It doesn't matter even if it was from Hong Kong or Macau or something. Like, it was expensive, man. It was huge thing. I was searching for tickets, and then I found out you had the same ticket as well. Like, you were traveling back then, right?
Yeah. I was traveling to Turkey that time. Coming back.
So you had the same route. So I unfortunately got the same route as you. So it was easy. The traveling part for my wife and kid was easy because they were traveling with you
True.
at that time.
True. Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that.
Nah, man. That's at least I could do, man. Yeah.
So, and then they came here, and after coming here, the administrative process would be getting them registered first with the whole police thing, which you can do online. In China, everything you can do online now. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, everything now is connected, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
I remember, like, when it was on the back when I was doing undergraduate, you have to go to this
police station,
right?
You
Directly
fill in some
notes
and stuff. Even sometimes they could even reject you and you need to come back again.
Yeah,
right?
and then you need to do it again, like 2-3 times. Maybe you have to go there. But now it's just filling some form online on WeChat, and you just do it, and then it just gets accepted. Usually it doesn't get rejected if you have the documents in order. Yeah,
I guess as long as you have every documents ready.
Just get approved in like less than 24 hours. And that's the first thing like you have to do when you come to China. Like, and I applied for them, and they got approved, and then the whole medical certificate, right?
Okay, yeah.
So by this time, it was like a month after I came. So by this time, China has like downgraded the COVID management policy, and now the whole COVID test was not necessary, and then they were taking in more people per day. So it was easy to get the appointment. So I did the appointment for my wife, and my kid does not need to do because Mile is like two years old.
Okay.
Kids above 5 needs to do the medical certificate.
That's nice. Yeah. Pretty
so
cool.
I did the medical certificate for my wife, and that part is also very easy. Like you go there and then
just go through all the procedures,
and then they mail it.
Yeah,
mail the document.
They mail it now. Yeah.
Before you have to go and collect it, but now they just mail it to you.
True.
And then I asked for the school for the letter, and this is also a important document if your family is going to live with you. You need a letter from whichever school or company that you work for, saying that you are either a student or a worker at this company, and that your family is coming here, and then the school kind of vouches for you, and then she's like you don't have a criminal background or something like that, like validating that you are actually a student of that,
exactly,
and that
their family are coming.
Okay. So this letter is quite simple. You can just apply to your school, and the school will just fill in the passport information and just give this document to you. So now even the visa, even the application for visas, like residence permits, in Nanjing, I think in everywhere in China has now become very easy, right? There are new offices, and now we have to go to this Jambe, Hsinchu.
Oh, you went to the
Yeah.
one here, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like this huge building, right?
True, true.
Basically, no one around, like no queues. Just go to the counter, and I was thinking like they would require a lot of documents, like I took photocopies of everything.
I forgot to tell you, they don't need it anymore now. Yeah.
So I didn't know what documents were required.
Uh-huh.
So I took photocopies of everything, and then as soon as I arrived at the counter, the lady, she was very nice, she was like, "Are you doing visa for you or for them?" Then she just pointed at them. Then she was speaking in Chinese, so I just said, yeah, right. And she said like, "Okay, sit down." And then she gave me a set of forms. I started filling in the forms, and then she said like, "Let's do your wife first," and then she asked me to give her passport, and she did it like in a very well mannered, structured way, right? And that's it. She took her passport, and then she asked for that proof of relation document, right? The important one. She asked me to give it, then she asked for like the letter from the school, and that's it. Only 3 documents and the application form.
You need to do the pictures too as well. No?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then no, like because they can't speak Chinese, and I'm the only one who can speak
okay,
Chinese,
okay,
so
okay.
she was like communicating through me. So I did the whole 2 passports, and I had to sign for my son because he's under 18, and they took a photo of me for my son. They didn't actually require. I was thinking like, how would Mile would sit there and take a picture, because you have met him, that kid.
He can't stay still.
Yeah. And they took a picture from like they took my picture instead of him, so that was a big relief for me at that time. And they took a picture of my wife, and that's it. The whole process didn't take like 15 minutes. Yeah. And right now, actually, I need to collect the passports next month, and then we are set. Like,
yeah.
they'll have a temporary residence.
Happy for you, man.
Thanks,
like
man.
how long again? You said like the passport is for like the permit 6 months or
6 months. It depends actually on your school.
ah
Apparently, the letter that they give from the school will state how much time you'll stay here. So I asked my school like how long will they get, and they said like they can do like 6 months like that. Like every 6 months you need to apply.
How much do you pay again for 6 months? I think it's lesser than normal, right? So it's supposed to be like 200 or something.
Oh no, we paid like 400. It doesn't matter. Like if you're paying for 6 months or 1 year, like you just paid 400.
400 for per
person.
Per person, right? Okay.
And then I asked like the school if it can be extended, and they said like they will. When of course it can be extended, but then I would require the letter again, stating the new days that they can stay. Like they write it on the paper like September 8th, like that. So when I apply, they will just say like for the next year, July maybe, giving it or December, giving it another 6 months.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a fairly straightforward process from then, and then we can stop worrying about the administrative process and just start living,
And can't wait, man. I mean, like after you get through that administrative process, I think everything gets easier by then, right?
It gets, yeah.
How's it been going? Like how have you guys been like adapting and transitioning to the life here?
Like if you want to talk about that, we have to talk about the weather, man. This weather of Nanjing.
Weather here is
yeah, you would know it better than me, man.
Yeah.
Nanjing, this weather, it's supposed to be better by now, man. It's like end of February now, right?
Yeah, it's almost March.
Yeah, it's almost March, and it's still like there are cold days.
True.
The wind makes it even worse, and that was the hard part, like
getting used to
the weather. Because we have a small child with us, Mile. He's 2 years old. He needs to be well protected. Like every time we go out, we have to like fluff him up like a bunny. Or else he would get sick, and then we were trying so hard not to get sick, and then we got sick. Like after 2 weeks they came here, and then I think it's like normal, like you have to get sick
Yeah, I
when you
guess
come
so,
to
yeah.
a new climate or
Mhm,
something, because
mhm.
back home it's like
Hot.
30 degrees all around,
Yeah, yeah, true.
So yeah, that part was difficult, like the weather. Apart from that, it's easier, like
Mhm,
the shopping, the getting around,
mhm. Mhm.
everything. It was easy. It's going to be easy. Like even if I'm not there, like if even if my wife does
Mhm,
not
mhm,
speak
mhm.
Chinese, I would say like it will be easier, because right now everything you can do
With the phone.
with the phone, right?
Yeah, true.
Ordering taxis,
Sure.
everything, and it's very straightforward processes that you
Uh-huh,
have.
uh-huh.
This in Alipay, right?
Yeah,
Alipay has everything, man.
true, true.
So right now for that transportation, getting food, buying groceries,
Mhm.
it's very easy. It's all like it's become a normal way of life now.
Mhm. I mean, in China, yeah, I guess like everything is just so simplified into
Mhm.
like basically just a press of a button in the phone and you get
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
in front of your door, right?
Can even go one step ahead and like live your whole life of Meituan, man.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just so crazy, like how they made everything so simple
Yeah.
here, right? It's like once you go back home, you feel like it's so outdated, like
Mhm.
how people are still using cash and all this stuff.
Mm.
I mean, I'm sure like in my country, I guess like we already have this apps like Alipay and WeChat Pay,
Mhm.
but it's still not very integrated into like most of your daily life. I guess
Mm.
that it's not as how do you call it, as fluid as like
It's here, right?
here. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like so normal,
Yeah,
man.
like here is like it's already a part of like it's integrated into your life in everything you do. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you need to have it. And like it's like what they say, like how do you call it, like it's even worse not having your phone here
Yeah.
than being naked like
Yeah.
in the street.
You need to have your phone, man. Like,
Yeah.
and you need to think about like like if you don't have charge also, like
Mhm,
you need to
true.
think about.
You-
And that's the thing, like before, I remember like before with the whole this whole mobile bank stations.
Uh-huh.
There's all the hype. Back then, I don't remember. Not a lot of places have that. The
Mhm.
whole mobile where you can borrow a power bank and
yeah.
just return it to the next station,
True,
right?
true.
At that time, like you have to think about it. Like you have to carry a power bank or you have to carry a cable and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
It never came to us like before, right?
Yeah,
It felt like it's just so stupid to be carrying like extra
Extra,
battery
yeah.
and stuff, extra cable, extra weight in yourself.
but you have to have it. Like
Now.
you have to keep your phone on.
Yeah. Now it's like impossible. I get like this anxious feeling, especially once like you get like into 20% territory. You start getting like, oh shit, can I actually get like my charge
Yeah.
soon? You were asking me just now before coming, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any charger?
I actually have a bit. Like I have 50 now,
Uh-huh.
but still I would need to be thinking about it.
Later,
Yeah,
right,
later.
yeah.
So
It is. I mean, it is what it is, man. Here, it's your phone is like your life.
Yeah.
I mean, like your phone number is connected to everything
yeah.
you do here, and it is like how do you call it? Your lifeline, I guess.
And it's not difficult, like to like recharge your phone as well. No?
Mhm,
'Cause,
mhm.
like all the places they have Wi-Fi, man. Like
Mhm.
even if you run out, you forgot to recharge.
Yeah.
You forgot to recharge. You just go to the next stop, next shop, and just tell them like you need Wi-Fi
You
to
need
recharge
Wi-Fi,
your
yeah.
phone. They just give you their Wi-Fi. They don't like think twice about that. Like I have had similar situations where actually I forget to recharge, right? I forget to read the message where they like warn me like you have to recharge, and then suddenly I don't have data, and then like when when you don't have data in China, right?
Yeah,
and like
sure.
it will hit you like nothing works.
Yeah, it
Like,
just stops. Like
yeah,
everything stops.
it just stops in the middle of the road, and like you're opening the maps and like it's not working. Like where do I go? Right?
True.
So I went to the next shop and then I just said like I need to Chonghua Fei like
Uh-huh.
that, and then they just give me the Wi-Fi. And
Uh-huh.
again, when you have Wi-Fi, you will just recharge your
True.
mobile
Anytime.
number, and
Mhm.
then your life is resumed.
Right.
And like suppose you're gonna cook
Mhm, mhm.
something,
Mhm.
you plan to cook. You're a busy guy. you plan to cook in the evening, like you're coming back from work,
Uh-huh.
but you don't have time to stop by the grocery store, right? And then the whole Meitun part comes in, right?
Yeah.
You go on Meitun, like, and then you select the vegetables you want, and you can actually, I think you can actually set the delivery time
Yeah,
as
you
well,
can
right?
set the delivery time too.
So you calculate the logistics
Uh-huh.
part where you actually arrive to the
Yeah.
apartment. So the guy will be waiting for you there.
Uh-huh.
So the whole process of actually is getting off the bus and going to the grocery store and doing it.
It's all been like cut
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
So it's pretty easy, you know, like you're not actually being lazy about it. You're being efficient.
about it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know because this is a very huge debate, I guess, like between people. Like,
Yeah.
people would say like you're just being lazy, man.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
Right. But
I've had people say that, you know,
Yeah.
like
But until and unless you've experienced this, this life, I guess, like in this like kind of environment, you wouldn't understand like how it actually is. Like it's because it's just being efficient or
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
with everything that you do.
yeah.
Like the example that you gave is actually very accurate. Yeah. And that's what I do like, usually. I'm busy, and usually when I get back, I wouldn't want either. Wouldn't want to go to the groceries anymore because like it's gonna be another like an hour just to go to the market and pick stuff and then come back home. It's gonna be a waste of time, or I'm home too late that I couldn't actually go to groceries
Yeah.
shopping, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't go to like let's say to the mall, and
Yeah.
then like it's too late. Most of the vegetables are probably not fresh as well, right?
And
So you
people
can
close
just-
off.
Yeah,
Also,
people close off and stuff. So I think it's just better. Like the thing that with like like the online shopping stuff, you just order and they get delivered on time, and they always there's this thing like they always like make sure that everything that you get is fresh. It's this very convenient thing,
Yeah.
that's happening here.
And usually it's not the price difference is not that large, man.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
not large.
sure.
It's quite understandable and reasonable, the
Mhm.
prices that they offer.
I think they mostly from my personal experience, like from all this like online groceries,
Mhm.
it's like probably usually is around 2 to 3
Yeah,
yuan
yeah.
more expensive than the normal grocery shopping
Yeah.
like you do in the wet market or something
Yeah.
like that.
So like 6 cents or
Mhm.
7 cents. Less than that, yeah.
I guess
Less
7
than that.
cents. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not much really. Okay, so I've been talking a lot like from coming here to China, living with like with families, and also like your studies in meteorology, and like what kind of I would say an advice or recommendations for people who are coming over to China, especially because if they have a family and like what kind of like the thought process that or any advice that you can actually give to people or students.
Yeah, like especially students with families, right?
Mm-hmm.
For especially students with families, there would be more like settled down already. Like they will have their life, their commute, their families, their friends. So scholars and graduates, they always want to learn. Like they always have this hunger to learn more things, to level up again. But the thing again is like when you have a family, you have a lot of strings attached, and you have to think about that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, like when you have a family,
Yeah.
especially when you have a supportive family, and I'm very thankful for that. I just want to say that on record,
Yeah.
and like which can make that dream happen. That's a huge advantage to you. But then again, there's the whole move, you're changing, you're packing your bags, you're packing your bags, like you're asking your wife, your son or your daughter to move with you to another country, like the whole new environment. For that you can study your master's degree or PhD. It's a huge ask, I know. But I want to stress this part, like the fact that it's China, the move, you may think it's going to be difficult with the whole language barrier and everything, and the whole finding an apartment and everything, getting adjusted to life. Of course, when you move here, you're moving out of your comfort zone, like your bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You're comfortable back home, your
Mhm.
wife, you have family, friends. But yeah, you'll come here. It's going to be difficult. I won't water it down, It's
Mhm.
going to be difficult. You'll miss home, you'll miss your family, and then sometimes you want to go back.
Mhm.
But I would say, like, here in China, there's a lot of things to look forward to. Like, apart from your studies,
Mhm.
like, apart from your studies, your universities, there's a lot of things that you can enjoy here, like the new food, the new people, and actually you could even learn the language and start to live a bit, in China.
Mhm.
And then, how to say it, like, when you're studying and when you're taking care of your family all the while here, it's going to be time consuming.
Mhm.
So I would say, like, if you are planning to come to China, talk to your family beforehand and give them the like the explanation of how it's going to be, especially in terms of time.
Yeah.
You have to manage your time here. You have to go to the university. You have to spend time with your family and stuff like that. And if it is beneficial for both the parties, you and your family, then I would say moving to China would actually be a good decision for you. Like, you're not going to regret,
Yeah.
because living in China has changed me a lot. It has made me the person I am, like, open to more adventures, open to more new people.
Mhm.
In terms of studies and in terms of research, the universities here are always pushing to new research. They want you to excel. They
True.
will push you to excel so much.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's not easy, but it gives you a sense of, like, confidence, like, when you finish your masters or your bachelors or your PhDs here, you're going to go back home with the wholehearted experience of actually having lived in China with your family. You take your son, your wife to the parks, to the malls, to these nice little lakes
Yeah.
in China, and the whole experience, the memories, the small ones and the
Mhm.
big ones, the friends that you meet, and with the research that you have actually completed here in China, that gives you, like, a kind of like a, like a fulfilled, you're fulfilled a part of your life
True.
that
True.
you did not know that you can
It can
fulfill.
actually
Yeah,
have, right? Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. So
It's
just
going to be difficult, yeah. The whole moving away from home and everything, it's going to be
It's always
difficult.
difficult,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's always difficult. But the thing is, talk with your family, like, tell them how it's going to be, and then their move is going to be much harder than your move. That's what I would say for an advice. Because for them to move with you, especially for me, like, I've lived here. I've
Yeah,
lived
it's
in
very
China,
easy
yeah.
for you.
For
yeah.
me, it was easy, but for my wife and kid,
It's
it would
a
be difficult, right?
True.
They are leaving everything behind. So for the new guys who wants to come over and do their studies in China, do whatever you can to make your family comfortable. Do whatever you can to help them adapt and survive in China.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of understanding, compromise, time management, and everything going on. But I'm not saying you can't do it. You can 100% do it if you know how to manage your time and
Communicate.
communicate. Yeah.
Just to summarize, I guess basically what you're saying is that moving with a family is definitely not easy, and just need to communicate more towards your like spouse or whatever, your children, and making the move here. It's not easy per se, like as in like a decision making point of view. But I guess like in the very general sense, moving to China is actually pretty easy because like everything here is very convenient, and like even the bureaucracy are very like simple here. There's nothing much like you need to worry about, and I guess like language barrier is there. It's definitely there, but there's people here who can actually help you a lot with going around and all this stuff. And yeah, I guess like it's a new world here. I mean, like I guess it's like, how do you call it, back in the U.S. those times where people say like the American dream, man.
Yeah.
Now it's more like the
Like
Chinese dream, right?
right?
I mean, it's better for you to be here, and like I guess just as a general thing for most of the people is that your life is gonna be definitely more colorful here and gonna be how do you call it, more opportunities would open for you here.
Yep.
Things that you've never seen before, things that you never thought about before would definitely somehow come to light, like just by living here alone. So I guess it's a really good experience for most of you guys.
It is, yeah.
Definitely. And so I guess that's it for today's episode, right? I mean, we've been talking for almost
a long time,
90 minutes now. And thank you so much to as well, Nasooh, for coming today.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
I mean, it's really hard to get to. I mean, because you have families and like your studies and all this stuff. And also for those of you guys who just came to our channel, our first podcast. This is like the first episode after the reboot, and hope you guys enjoyed the show and everything. And if you guys would love more of this content, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share to your friends. Would definitely help us a lot. Yeah. So okay, and if you guys have anything, like any topic that you guys want to hear about, or maybe like some other subject, some other research, and some other people that you would like to listen about, just put it down in the comments below, so I can kind of like invite some other guests to come as well, and see which one would suit you guys better. And so that's all I guess for today, and that's it. And
thanks for
see you guys again.
having me, I guess.
See you guys again in the next episode of Nanjing Podcast.
All right.
Bye bye.